Aurora considers tougher new rules for people living on the streets. Advocates say it's not fair unless folks are offered a place to stay. Denver's idea to keep kids out of trouble this summer, a job, backed with a $1,000 check from the city. Our lives would all be better if Coloradans would agree to zipper merge in traffic. Don't hold your breath for signs helping people to zip it.
But I think it was like something like that.
The RFK Jr. stop in Colorado has us looking at whether voters in this state have bought into non-major party candidates in the past. That's tonight on Next. Aurora says its proposed anti-homelessness policy will be tough love, focused on outlawing living outdoors in whole sections of that city, with harsher penalties for violators of the city's camping ban. Tonight, Aurora City Council considers a pair of ordinances. One would allow the city to designate certain areas as closed to camping, areas that could then be swept without any advance notice, and people living there would be charged with trespassing. Mayor Mike Kaufman says the entire 225 corridor would fall under that blanket camping ban. A second ordinance up for a vote tonight would send those charges through a dedicated court system for people living on the streets. Proponents say that'll allow people to be directed then to shelter or other resources.
This is a tough love approach. We currently have outreach teams that go out every single week, and we get and offer services, and we get very few takers. And this makes it in this area, which I believe is the center of gravity for unsheltered homelessness, where it's no longer a choice.
They're really giving people no options to find an appropriate place to go. I think eliminating the notification, will cause more harm in the long run to those experiencing homelessness.
Aurora is currently in the process of setting up a regional navigation campus, basically a one-stop shop with shelters and other resources that's expected to open early next year. Denver Mayor Mike Johnston is rolling out a new program to put 1,000 young people to work over the summer. It is a $1 million effort to keep kids engaged and out of trouble. Johnston says this Mayor's Youth Works program will use $1.7 million in funding from the state to find summer jobs for people between the ages of 16 and 24. City will host job fairs to match employers with employees, and the city will pay a $1,000 stipend to each young person who completes more than 100 hours of work. Mayor Johnston says low-income families will get priority, and the city will offer those families additional financial literacy training.
We think that summer is a great opportunity to get young people engaged in positive activities. It can also be an at-risk time for young people who are not engaged in positive activities to be exposed to violence. We're going to prioritize those young people from low-income neighborhoods and from low-income backgrounds, where we know the research shows the more and more young people we employ, the fewer and fewer young people get caught up in the criminal justice system.
On top of that, the city is offering $500,000 worth of grants for neighborhoods that have especially high rates of youth violence, so you can put together summer programs like sporting events or concerts. All of this is happening after the city of Denver reversed its plan to make cuts to summer programs to fund migrant services. We've got a tornado watch for northeast Colorado tonight, and Kathy's here with that.
Thanks, Kyle. We are tracking severe thunderstorms north and east of Denver with a chance for a few rain showers yet here in the city tonight. Tomorrow will be cooler with a chance for showers ahead of a milder pattern for the middle part of the week. This is the area under the tornado watch. Keensburg, Greeley, Raymer, Fort Morgan, Sterling, Holyoke. These are the areas through 11 o'clock we'll be watching for rotating thunderstorms, the potential for 2-inch diameter hail and heavy rainfall. We're seeing these storms track from the southwest toward the northeast on the I-76 corridor. Nothing severe yet, but we think that will be changing in the next 2 hours as we've had that heating of the day. The atmosphere is extremely unstable, and these thunderstorms are moving into a favorable environment to produce rotating storms, but also that large hail. We have an enhanced risk for severe weather over northeastern Colorado through the late night time period. Again, hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds possible, Fort Morgan out to Sterling and Holyoke, and we can't rule out an isolated tornado. Some of this convection will go late into the night. Dark skies over Denver, but still dry for the evening drive. Temperatures are much cooler than we've seen, down to 62 compared to 82 in southeastern Colorado. Winds are picking up as well as the front begins to drop into central Colorado. The scattered storms will really blow up over the northeastern corner of the state late tonight, moving into Nebraska overnight. We get another round of showers tomorrow afternoon and a much much cooler day coming up. Tonight in Denver, as we continue to kind of watch those clouds roll through, there is the chance of showers and storms, but the heaviest activity is north and east. 60 tomorrow with a chance for rain, 70s midweek. Storms return to the forecast by the end of the week.
If your feedback's any indication, you want us to zip it. You want all of us to zip it. We're trying to start a movement to get Colorado's drivers to zipper merge. Our Marshall Zellinger looks at the signs, or lack of them, to help Coloradans keep traffic moving.
You see that silver truck straddling 2 lanes? We need that driver to just zip it.
Do not merge now. Wait until you see the sign that's the merge point.
Consider Sally Farrell an expert in the zipper merge.
I merged from Parker Road onto 225, and then from 225 onto 25.
She is one of the 100+ viewers who emailed us with ideas to just zip it, Colorado.
You have to have the sign well in advance of where this merge point is going to be, and then by the time you get there, everybody knows it's going to happen.
Lane closure signage should be closer to the closure to facilitate people doing the zipper.
Larry Steele had similar feedback after our demonstration on the right way to zipper merge when lanes are reduced because of construction, like at northbound Spear and Wayzata.
I thought it was helpful.
Now that the Avalanche and Nuggets seasons are over, the city of Denver will also soon shut down 2 lanes on southbound Spear just outside of Ball Arena. The closures are part of bridge rehab work. Today, the city's transportation department told me highway research on late merge signage is relatively new, and there are no plans to add those kinds of signs on Spear. Signs like CDOT has on the highway system. On the 6th Avenue on-ramp to northbound I-25, there is this sign. Right lane ends. Use both lanes during congestion. Doesn't roll off the tongue quite like Zip It, Colorado, but it's something. Nearby on westbound 6th Avenue from I-25, there's the somewhat confusing merging of 3 lanes into 1. One warning sign says lane ends in 1,000 feet, and then after that lane disappears, there's an overhead sign that simply says merge with an arrow. Larry suggests something more technologically advanced.
On the digital signs, put some graphics up there that show how to zipper.
No matter how we get the message out, once you zipper, don't forget, we've got a signal for that.
My fingers don't work too well, but I think it was like something like that.
Yes, it's going to be a thing. You can even start to text people this. It's a peace sign. And then the fingers crossed sign is how you should do it via text. It may take a while to get current drivers up to speed or down to speed on the zipper merge, but Kyle, the kids are going to have it figured out because Friday we used the Hot Wheels and Gravedigger to demonstrate, and today another toy. Thank you, Pippa. Well, when you learn as a child, as a youth, the letter Z, you're learning.
Look at that.
And the sound effect.
Look at that. The children will lead the way. Because again, as we've established, this is the superior way to merge traffic. It moves the cars more quickly, it's orderly. I think all of us at one point or another have been in a good zipper merge, like coming out of a concert or something like that, where it's not a guessing game. You're not in a stare down with other drivers. It's one then the other and one then the other. It's a beautiful dance when it works.
Skiing, we got that feedback. Skiing and snowboarders have been doing this for decades.
Oh, in lift lines.
Right. Here's a couple things that I'm going to preview looking ahead. How do you get the people in the lane that you're merging into to allow it? Because there's some psychological, like, this is my property, how dare you come in? Also, we heard from several people about New Zealand has this figured out. So what did I do today? I reached out to the Ministry of Transport in New Zealand. They acknowledged they got my question. We just didn't get something back in time. It's also noon tomorrow there, so
Okay.
the exchange rate.
You gonna ask the boss to go to New Zealand on this story?
I think we have enough evidence that it might be worth it.
Pretty sure it's gonna be a hard no, but you should try. Marshall, thank you. Parents and students upset over the Poudre School District's plan to close and merge schools made a public show of that frustration ahead of an emergency board meeting tonight. Those are the students from Blevins Middle School, one of the schools on the district's chopping block. They walked out of class today. Second year in a row, that particular school has been eyed for consolidation or closure. District backed off a consolidation plan last year after similar community pushback. A parent named Medora Hughesby has a 7th grader at Blevins, and she says the district needs to provide more answers on why this is needed.
We want more time, we want our questions answered, we want well thought out, deliberate choices. We all want what's best for the students in our community. We want PSD to stay strong. We just need to make sure that we're thinking far enough ahead when we make these big, big choices that impact so many people. And right now, we don't have that information.
So the district's called this emergency board meeting for tonight, where they'll consider whether to table that plan for a second straight year. Have to thank you for your support of Brent's Place, the nonprofit that provides a free place to stay for families who come into Denver for life-saving medical treatment. Your latest Word of Thanks microgiving campaign raised more than $10,000 last week, and that's not even counting the monthly donations to the Word of Thanks Fund. Those have been adding another $20,000 to each campaign each week. So tell me about a nonprofit that is making an impact in your corner of Colorado. I read each and every email that you send to next@9news.com.
I cannot be a spoiler because I can win the race.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. came to Colorado trying to get on our presidential ballot, where third-party candidates tend to overperform. We went through 40 years of numbers. And we'll meet a man who's cobbled together a trail around Denver, an adventure for urban explorers. Next. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is collecting signatures right now to get on the ballot in Colorado, 1,500 in each congressional district. Historically, non-major party candidates tend to overperform in Colorado.
The most popular party affiliation in Colorado is none, but the vast majority of Coloradans fall along major party lines in presidential elections. In 2020, Libertarian Jo Jorgensen just barely outperformed her nationwide vote share, taking 1.6% of the vote in Colorado. 2016, Libertarian Gary Johnston did significantly better in Colorado than elsewhere, but still just got 5% of the vote. Dial back to 1996, a rare third-party underperformance in Colorado. Ross Perot didn't do as well here as he did nationally. Perhaps that's because he had just contentiously edged out former Colorado Governor Dick Lamb for the Reform Party nod. Because 4 years earlier, 92, when Ross Perot won nearly 19% of the national popular vote, a record for a non-major party candidate, here in Colorado, he did even better, almost 23%. And all the way back in 1980, when newspaper ads in Colorado touted John Anderson as the thinking person's choice, he got 6 to 7% nationwide in Reagan's landslide win, while he topped 10% in Colorado.
RFK Jr.'s campaign said yesterday they expect to be about a third of the way through their petition signature gathering in Colorado by today. He said that he's going to wait until the last minute to turn in these signatures in most states, with the idea of making it harder for Republicans and Democrats to challenge the signatures. So while most of Colorado was focused on the Avs getting bounced out of Stanley Cup contention on Friday, Democratic Governor Jared Polis quietly issued his first vetoes of the year. One of the bills vetoed would have made general contractors liable for wage claims by workers owed money by subcontractors. Polis nixed that, said that the bill would let subcontractors off the hook for stiffing their employees. He also vetoed a bill that sponsors said would have improved HVAC systems in schools. This is an issue that comes up year after year. Polis's problem with the bill is that he thought that the requirements would create roadblocks for rural schools that would stop them from applying from the grant funding. Our partners at Colorado Politics report, as of Friday, more than 300 bills are still waiting for an up or down from the governor. A major hospital system in Colorado has reached a new deal with one of the state's largest insurance carriers, weeks after their contract expired. Without a deal, 11 hospitals and dozens of other service providers were going to be out of network for patients insured by Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. Anthem has more than 1 million patients in Colorado, and now they have a new 5-year deal with Common Spirit Health. Their contract expired in April as they argued over the cost that Anthem would cover for Common Spirit patients. Neither Anthem nor Common Spirit released details about the new rates, but we do know that deal is going to last through April of 2029. And the agreement is retroactive. So patients who use Common Spirit services during that contract lapse, they won't be charged extra. He missed a chance to go to space, yet he still made history in the process. Now a Coloradan is blazing a trail again. Hikers who hate going uphill have a new option: 177 miles of urban exploration around Denver. A Coloradan who nearly became America's first black astronaut has finally made it to space. He's now 90. He's made history once again. Ed Dwight rocketed into space over the weekend, more than 6 decades after he became the nation's first black astronaut candidate. Dwight was an Air Force captain when he became a candidate for the Astronaut Corps in 1961. He didn't get picked for the 1963 class, and he eventually left the military. He started a construction company and became a sculptor, focusing on famous African-American figures. Even for a man who has made monuments to people like Martin Luther King Jr., the significance of his own accomplishments are not lost on him.
I mean, look what happened to me, man. Here I was, this little short black guy in the military, and these guys picked me out of nowhere, and they dropped me in the middle of the White House, Congress. How many people does that happen to? I served my purpose, and my purpose was to start a conversation about blacks in space.
Ed Dwight is now the oldest person to ever go to space. William Shatner had the record previously, 2 months younger, when he went up in 2021. The Denver metro area has so many amazing trails and now a unique effort to weave them together.
To me, it's a way to get out of my own head. I get outdoors, I listen to a podcast, or I just listen to the sounds of the birds in the water. And, it's just a way to, kind of clear my head from the stresses of daily life. Hey, I'm Mike Tormey. I created the Denver Orbital Trail, a epic adventure that totally encircles the Denver metro region. So the Denver Orbital Trail is a new walking route that it goes in a full circle around the Denver metro region. It's 177 miles. I split it into 28 segments, so it's kind of a more manageable chunks that you could do in just a day going out walking. So they're all good for day hikes. They range anywhere from 2 miles to 12 miles. They vary in difficulty. Last summer, I moved to Denver, and I was, I went to alltrails.com to try to find a hike to do that weekend and was totally overwhelmed. But I also got thinking, and I saw that this was something that was kind of possible to string together. And I've basically been working on it nonstop ever since. You get to know different neighborhoods of Denver, of the entire metro region. You start to see, the whole region for what it is. That means everything from, the industrial areas of Commerce City to the iconic Red Rocks Amphitheater and Buffalo Bill's grave on the top of Lookout Mountain. You're not just drawing a circle around Denver, and you're not just, going for a walk, but you're discovering this place, and you're discovering something to love on every segment as you do it. And I hope people take away the benefits of getting outdoors. You don't have to drive 2 hours into the mountains and brave I-70 traffic to do it. You can get out right here in Denver, and there's so many benefits and so much joy to getting out and walking, really taking on this whole thing and trying it out.
Amen. Adventure's right outside the door. We're just got feedback. It's about zippering, isn't it? All right, thank you. Zipper feedback next. The most Colorado thing we saw today is a jam session with a view. Next viewer named Vanessa spotted this young man putting on a show on Swan Mountain Road in Summit County. He's got the full kit out there, and look at that view. I know there's a story behind this. If you see something that says Colorado to you, email us. Next at 9news.com. Hey, quick correction. It was 1996, not 1992, when Ross Perot edged out Colorado's former governor Dick Lamb to run on the Reform Party ticket. My thanks to our friend and partner Marianne Goodland over at Colorado Politics for catching my error. Brenda in Westminster says, I feel such shame. I've been driving for 50 years, shaking my fist at those drivers who drove all the way down a lane that was closing ahead. Thanks for educating us. FYI, she says, I did my first zipper merge today, then raised my hands and cheered for myself. Sherry says that she is the one who won't let those drivers in. Hell no, they saw the same sign and ignored it. Guess I'm the problem, too bad. You are the problem, Sherry, yes.